Anybody? Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Once again, I've been sitting here listening to the remarks of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, acting like this is somehow business as usual, that somehow this is a legitimate process. It's not. It's absolutely not normal. It is unacceptable. And if you think the American people don't see through this power grab, they do. I encourage you to just take a look at what's happening right now in your own states. People are voting, people are mobilizing, people are requesting their mail-in ballots despite the fact that this president has undermined those ballots every single day, including at that spectacle of a debate that we just saw 2 nights ago. Take a look at the number of people that are voting. The people are watching what you're doing right now. It has been less than 2 weeks since the nation lost an icon, a hero, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And yet the president has already put forward a nominee whose views could not be more different than Justice Ginsburg's. This isn't personal for me, but I do say we have an obligation as U.S. senators that have been elected from our states. The people sent us here to do our jobs, to understand her views when it comes to health care and how we regulate things and what happens with the environment and what she's going to do. That's our job, and we certainly have some pretty strong clues out there. It doesn't take much to follow what she will do. Why the rush is my first question. 11 days. We are in the middle of a presidential election. Look at what Abraham Lincoln did. That's the only time we had a justice die this close to an election. What did he do? Well, he waited. He waited until the results were in, and then to figure out if, in fact, he was going to be the president again, and then he put forward a nominee. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle know that this is their last chance to allow this president to jam through another judicial appointment to the nation's highest court. Are we talking about the pandemic, which is on everyone's minds right now? No. Over 200,000 people have died, but is that our focus in these few weeks leading up to the election? No. Nearly 30 million people are unemployed. Is that what we're talking about here today? No, it's not. According to Yelp, 800 small businesses a day closing in every one of your states. Is that what we're talking about? No, we're not. No, we're not. Because President Trump wants to jam through a nominee. So, let's look at this nominee and what she has said on the most important issue of our time when we are in the middle of a pandemic. She said, in a law review article out of my state, University of Minnesota Law Review, she criticized Chief Justice Roberts, not exactly a blazing liberal. She criticized him, which means to me, you can see where she is when you look at where he is. She said that Chief Justice Roberts, quote, pushed the Affordable Care Act beyond its plausible meaning to save the statute. What does she mean by that? Well, she didn't agree with it. She says he pushed it beyond its plausible meaning just to allow the Affordable Care Act, which gave health care to millions of people and protected even more people from getting kicked off their insurance for pre-existing conditions and allowed parents to keep their kids on their insurance until they were 26. She didn't agree with that. In fact, in another interview in 2015, not that long ago, she said the dissenters, that would mean Alito, Thomas, you know it, the dissenters, quote, had the better of the argument. Come on, that's pretty clear. But what does it mean in real terms her views. What does that mean? Well, I think about the mom I met in a small town parade on 4th of July a few years ago who was pushing her toddler in a stroller. And she came up to me because at the time we were debating the Affordable Care Act. We were debating because our colleagues on the other side of the aisle, our Republican colleagues, were trying to repeal that bill, which they labeled Obamacare. And I always love the fact that President Obama is more than happy to take on that name because he's proud of that bill, as is Vice President Biden. So this mom has a kid in her stroller, and she comes up to me and she says, "This is my son. He has Down syndrome, and I will do anything to fight for his health care." And then she pauses and said, "This is what a pre-existing condition looks like." So you wonder why we are worked up about this right now? It's because of moms like that. Or the twins that I met from another small town in my state, because remember, this affects people all over our country. Twins, both on the same softball team. One a pitcher, one a catcher. One has severe juvenile diabetes, one doesn't. And their mom said to me, "Does it matter which one is the pitcher or the catcher? Does it matter which one? Don't they both deserve health care?" That is what is at stake at the Supreme Court argument on November 10th, coming up. So why would the president not wait? Well, you can jam through a justice who every indication is would rule with him when it comes to his attempt to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. This isn't some esoteric thing in an ivory tower. This would happen to people right now. Why else does he want to jam it through? Well, I think we got some sense of that. What did he say on the White House lawn about the election? I think this will end up in the Supreme Court, and I think it's very important that we have 9 justices. What did he say during the debate? He talked about, we all heard it, millions of people were watching. He talked about the court counting the ballots, seeing the ballots. This is where his head is. So in the same debate where he refused to condemn white supremacy, he refused to do it, he also, once again, he literally does it 4 or 5 times a day, tried to undermine this election. So part of the undermining this election is to shove through a nominee that he believes is going to be on his side. So, as I said to my colleagues, I would not be part of this if I were you. If you want to get on that train and go along with a guy that won't even condemn white supremacy, go along with a guy that's condemning our election system, making people scared to vote, talking about sending military to the polling places, that's on you, because the public is watching. They're not just watching the Supreme Court hearing, which they're going to do, but they are also watching the debates. They saw how this guy acted. They see what's in front of them. If I were you, I would not be part of this charade. Thank you.
Thank you.